sure it's recording. Alright. What's up, y'all? I am back for another video. We are continuing on with the Craig era. Hold on, the Craig era of Bond movies, and we have two more. We have this one, and then No Time to Die. I'm just dreading, because I know what happens. Like, I've seen reviews at the time, and oof. Apparently, like, from what I heard here, Craig has some okay moments in it, but it's pretty much really bad. Watching this one probably should have been the last one. It had, like, an ending feel to it, tying all the films together, getting the reveal of Spectre and Oberhauser, which is revealed later, becoming Blofeld. And Christoph Waltz was so good. That's why I'm like, I kind of wish we got more of him, but I kind of get why they were keeping him hidden. They wanted to have that reveal. I get it. But it's just kind of me being selfish as just wanting more, because Christoph Waltz plays such a good bad guy. I mean, he was great in, Inglourious Bastards, and obviously he was a great good guy in Django, but he really showed he can be a villain, and him being a Bond villain it's just right. He has that Bond villain feel. Even a little bit in Inglourious Bastards, so I actually think it makes sense making him a Bond villain. But this was a really good one. Bond continuing his mission, but we them trying to find out about Spectre. We get the reveal. And that's basically what this movie really is. I mean, Bond gets suspended from action because of what happened in Mexico City in the beginning of the film, which I thought was really good. The Bond song in this, though, is absolutely terrible. It was by Sam Smith, it's that shitty poppy shit. I don't think Bond theme should ever be poppy. It should always either be most of the time it should be like, I'm not even the biggest fan of Adele, but like something like Skyfall. That is kind of what a Bond theme should be. Something classy like that. Or even, I'm okay with rock. Y'all know I love rock music, but I'm not like, Bond theme should be like Metallica. I'm not saying that, But, Chris Cornell's, You Know My Name, that for Casino Royale, that's perfect. The Bond theme in this was horrible. It just did not fit. And the fact that I found out, too, that apparently Radiohead wanted to do the song, and the song's out there, and, like, actually, it's on YouTube, meshed with that song instead of Sam's. It's so much better. And it's not just because I like Radiohead. It has that Bond feel to it, too. But whatever fucking reason, whatever studio had decided to be a fucking retard, and it's like, nah, we're not going to go with that one. Let's go with Sam Smith. It doesn't even fit Bond. It's like something I listen to in a club, or like, so I don't know. It just does not fit James Bond. So that's like my only real negative of the movie, honestly. I actually love everything else. I love the reveal of Blofeld, the reveal of Spectre, Madeline Swan. I thought she was a good Bond girl. Her and Daniel Craig had chemistry, and I actually think this and Skyfall to me are like tied. I love the feel of this movie. I love that they decided to finally lean into like that more fantasy element of Bond, where it's not supposed to be like some realistic action movie like Jason Bourne. It's like they just finally leaned in, with all the scene where Q shows him his tech, the new car, and of course, the fact that, and it's awesome that's why I love. This is why I say it should have been the end. That scene where Bond, he retires. Gets the girl. He even decides not to kill Blofeld, and he gets his Aston Martin restored, because if you remember last movie, he got destroyed. So it's like, it just seemed like this would have been a better way to end it. Monty Penny was pretty good. I had no problem with her being race swapped for the movie. And Monty Penny's a minor character. It's kind of like how I feel about Perry White and Man of Steel. Like, they're minor characters to me. I would actually say Monty Penny's probably more important to Bond than I would say the other opposite. But even then, it's fine. It works for the movie. So Bond is looking into what Spectre is, and then we get that reveal. And Batista as Hinks is actually really good. It's actually one of my favorite Batista roles. He felt like a modernized Jaws a little bit. That fight on the train between him and Bond was really fucking great. And Batista, Hinks was like, equal rights, equal lefts, because he fucking smacked the shit out of fucking um Madeline. It's like, god damn. But yeah, like it was like he really played his like the heavy very well. That scene where he gouges the dude's eyes out, obviously they didn't show the whole detail. Like, Bond's not like supposed to be gory, so you're not gonna like actually see the guy's eyes gouged. But still relatively effective. Like Batista, he didn't talk a lot either. Like I actually think that why he worked. He's this silent big dude. Yeah, and yeah, that scene where we get the reveal of Blofeld is perfect. Even going back to the first movie, and and pretty much the villains from all the other movies are all operatives of Spectre. We get that reveal. That's why I said they should have ended it here. This one actually had a finality feel to it. I wonder if they were going in meaning this to be the last one because it felt like it, and then just we had to get No Time to Die. So, and I really love the ending. Um, I love the little chase scene where Bond has to try to save Swan out of the exploding building, and then he gets his Aston Martin back. Oh, Ralph Fiennes as Q is so fucking good. As M, sorry. He is really good as the new M. You know, he's no Judi Dench, but I thought he did a good job on his own. And actually, I wouldn't have minded more movies with him as Q. I keep saying Q. Fucking M. Sorry. As M. I actually really like him as the new M. You know? He made it his own. I liked his little face off with C, who's like this part of this group, Nine Eyes, which wants to basically get rid of the Double O operation because we get the reveal that he's been working with Spectre the whole time. I like his back and forth between him and C, who's like the head or whatever of the group Nine Eyes. Like I really like this one. This one had really good dialogue. The action was great. It just had everything that made a great Bond film. So, you know, this should have been it. So we'll see how No Time to Die. I have not seen it. For all I know, I could say it's decent, but I don't think I will though, just because I know how it ends. So, but out of 10, I'd give this one like a 9. I really like this one. This like Blofeld was really good. I wanted more of him. That's my only thing. But I still felt like you felt his presence, or Oberhauser. I'm just gonna call him Blofeld though, just for all intents and purposes. You felt his presence throughout the film. And then they even revealed the twin brothers. I know that's like new. It's not in the original. I'm okay with it. I'm fine with that being there. Like, it doesn't necessarily ruin it. And I didn't feel like it was even hokey in the way it was done. So, yeah. So, ever since, because he almost was, like, basically jealous of Bond, and that's why he basically made Spectre to basically eradicate Bond. That was the whole point. So, I thought it was a solid, like, almost reboot of that Spectre story. So, yeah, I really like it. So, in my head, this is the end of the Craig era. In my mind, this is how it really ends. That ending where Bond has the girl and he drives off in the basically, restored Aston Martin. Yeah, that's the perfect ending. You don't need any more after that. At least for this version of Bond. So yeah, but Spectre's really good. So this Bond journey's been fun. And like I said, I think Craig plays a good Bond. I just think, unfortunately, Quantum of Solace, for whatever reason, really did not want to let him play it. So it's like the last two movies actually let him be Bond, even to the point where like even the action scenes feel a lot more Bond-like. Because I like Casino Royale, but I even said in that movie that some of the fight scenes felt too Bournish. It's like they heeded that criticism from the last couple, like really from Quantum. And it's like, okay, we're going to go more into that old Bond element. And that's what these last two films have felt like. A lot of the tech, you got exotic locations, Bond's being Craig. Actually, they let Craig be Bond, well, even the way he's introduced in Mexico City. He's like hooking up with this fucking girl in Mexico before he does his mission. It's like, that's fucking Bond. Like, it's like, I actually really like that car chase too with Hinks and Bond too. That was a good little car chase. So overall, I really like this movie. So tomorrow I'm gonna review American Cyborg Steel Warriors, a movie my friend Steve recommended me. So it's based from what I hear, it's a Terminator ripoff, which I don't mind. There were a lot of those in the 80s. I mean, there's a lot of ripoffs of really great movies in general. So I'll talk about that more tomorrow. But yes, I'll be doing that. So, but let's get into Spectre. So Bond's in Mexico City, basically trying to find out about Spectre. They didn't know the name it yet, obviously. We get a chase between him and this guy, which leads to a helicopter. And then before he dies, we get like feel that there is a secret organization. But because of Bond's overzealousness, I really like him and M, the new, Ralph Fiennes, as the new M. I really liked his little back and forth between him and Craig. I thought they had a nice little chemistry. Yeah, I'm gonna keep saying he's not Judi Dench, but I understand they had it. Like, it made sense ending that version of Judy, of M at that point, So, and this is where we get introduced to C, who Bond, that's what Bond calls him, so I'm just gonna call him that throughout the film. He's basically like a secondary bad guy who's trying to get rid of the Double O organization. So Bond secretly works with M and Monty Penny covertly, so they can get info about Spectre. This is then where we first meet Hinks, as Bond's at like this kind of, I don't know what to call it, like party or some discussion. And this is where he first sees Hinks, and man, Batista played him really well. Like, he played him really intimidating because he didn't talk a lot. I think he had like one bit of dialogue, but that's it. He just was a silent badass, gouge a dude's eyes out, Then, yeah, this is where we get that. Actually, no, this is a little bit later. I'm going to jump up back. That Q is so good. I really like this version of Q. Don't get me wrong, I prefer original Q, but I do like this guy. I think he really played like a nice, somewhat, modernized Q. Monty Penny was alright. I won't say she's like one of the best versions, but I do like her, for this film. Her and Craig had nice banter. So for me, because Bond and M, I keep saying M, I'm fucking high. Bond and Monty Penny should always have that little bit of flirt, little bit of like, banter back and forth. And I thought she had it fine. So her and Craig had it. Um, so Bond then goes to Sierra, I think is her name, who's like this leader and assassins are trying to get. Cause he ends up killing her husband, and he asks about the info about Q of Spectre. I'm so fucking all over the place. Sorry, of Spectre, and this is where we get a name, Oberhauser or Blofeld. I'm just and throughout the film you get more info. I did like this scene though. Between M and C, because this is where they basically got rid of they decided to, get rid of the Double O organization. At this point, we didn't know he was secretly working for the villain, but I thought this was a well done scene. It kind of reminded me of the scene from the last movie, where they're kind of talking about like this older age of spying. And so after Bond gets the information, he meets with Mr. White, and tries to get information from him, but he ends up committing suicide, because he knows. Actually, before that, he tells him, and that basically Bond, to get the information, basically says, "Tell me about, I'll protect your daughter." So I actually thought that was a nice little scene between the two. Then this is where we get the Hinks chase. I actually really dug this scene. After he killed the guy, Hinks sees Bond. We get a chase between the two. It was a really well done car chase. The cinematography is really good in these movies. I think they got that part down. But I actually think it looks good. Because a Bond film should always have a bit of like some good cinematography. Because you got like the big chase scenes, you got some of the big action set pieces, or even just like the exotic locations. So I like, especially now, I kind of expect great cinematography in general. Even in the older Bond films, there's always kind of like the cinematography aspect about it. Like, oh, they're in this exotic location. You got the big chase scenes. You got the yeah, I know I just said that, but that is what Bond is, and I think these last two films have really captured that. They have definitely dialed back the whole realistic slash Jason Bourne tone. Don't get me wrong, I like those movies. Bond, I was always thinking this. Bond is not just your. He should not just be some action movie. James Bond to me is like a little bit almost in its own level because it's not just your regular action movie. Like during action scenes, Bond should be a little bit like still have that charisma and charm. Even in like the midst of danger. I'm jumping ahead a bit, but that scene where Blofeld tortures him, it's that classic like when Bond's in that kind of predicament, he's gonna shit talk the villain and not like him. You're not supposed to just don't get me wrong. I'm okay with characters that are just stoic and are just about they want revenge and they're a stoic character. Not against that, but that's not Bond, and that's what I felt like Quantum of Solace was trying to do. So it's like they have definitely dialed that back. They let Craig show off his charm. They actually did a good job of showing how you can do the tech and modernize. He has like a watch that basically is a bomb, but they did it. It's just like a regular looking watch. They didn't do anything goofy. You still have the car with like the fancy tech. So yeah, Bond manages to escape from Hinks. This is where he meets Madeline Swan. She gets kidnapped by Hinks and his people. We get a chase scene. Bond manages to seemingly kill Hinks, seemingly, but he actually still alive. But Bond convinces Swan to come with him, because she knows the information. She has information, so she's convinced. So they end up going. This is where obviously they slowly start liking each other. They have really good chemistry. I think she was a decent Bond girl. I'm not every Bond girl has to always be an agent or, because there's been a couple of Bond films like that where not the girl isn't like some other agent or in the not military, but like in some kind of also in some kind of organization. I like that sometimes it's just a regular girl. It works. And then yeah, so their date, I'll call it date, was basically interrupted by Hinks. We get a pretty good fight scene between the two. It was like I love like the cinematography of that fight. Like you just see like a shot and then bam, both of them just coming in through the wall. And yeah, Hinks they really showed off his like how much of it like Bond struggled with him. Like Hinks was throwing Bond around a couple of times. He even fucking hit Madeline, but she ends up coming back, and because she finds his gun, shoots Hinks in the arm before Hinks has Bond like in a chokehold. She shoots Hinks, and then Bond like attaches because like the window's open, and he attaches like a chain or it's like a keg, like there's like a chain to the keg, and Hinks ends up flying out and dying, or basically seemingly dying. I don't know if he comes. I didn't see No Time to Die, so maybe he comes back in that. I don't remember hearing his name in that, so I think he died. I'll just say he died. So then they hook up. I love it. They end up making it, and this is where they meet Oberhauser, and then we get the reveal. And yeah, the way Christoph Waltz played this was so good. That's why I wanted more of him, but I get why it's set up the way it was. And pretty much all the, like I said, all the villains from the past movies were all tied to him. He's the one who basically got Vesper killed. All him. I really liked how it was done. It wasn't done cheesy either, because there's so many ways you can kind of fuck that kind of reveal up and make it cheesy. It's like, oh really? Because at times, it just comes off like a very bad retcon. Like, oh no, we're just saying that this happened, even though you weren't. There's a way you could pull off. I guess if you want to call it a retcon, and still make it work. this works. It didn't feel cheap. It felt like genuine, like, oh, okay, I could believe this guy planning this the whole time. It didn't come off cheap or at all. So he ends up tying up Bond. Oh, it also shows the suicide of her father, of Swan's father. He tortures Bond. He manages to escape and use his bomb watch to they escape. Seemingly killed Blofeld. And basically before that, this is where he reveals to him that like they're brothers and that and all this. I'm okay with it. It doesn't come off like forced, and honestly, it's almost secondary. You're more focused on Blofeld fucking over Bond's life, you know. So they manage to escape. They meet up with M, Q, and Monty Penny, and basically they find out that C and Nine Eyes have been working for Spectre, and that they're attempting to give him control of the I'll just say like, you know, the world's connection, some kind of like the world's network kind of thing. So they are basically M plan and Q plan to confront C while Bond confronts Blofeld. And while before this happens, Bond and Swan get kidnapped. Bond manages to break out, tries this. They go in this damn abandoned building. This is where we find out Blofeld's still alive, and he has the signature scar, and basically tells Bond that you only have 3 minutes before this building's blown up, and you got to try to save Swan or save yourself, kind of thing. So Bond manages to find her, saves her. I actually, like I said, I like their chemistry. You know, even before, you know, they jump, Bond's like, "Do you trust me?" And she, you know, basically says yes, and they jump. It was like they have like a nice little back and forth. Like I could buy them as a couple. I would probably say of these movies, well, no, Vesper Lynn is probably the best, but I'd say she's second. Like she's pretty good in this. So we managed to escape, chase Blofeld in his helicopter on a boat. Bond manages to let off a shot on a helicopter, which caused it to crash. Q arrives, and Bond confronts Blofeld, and it looks like he's about to kill him. And Blofeld even demands him to finish it. Bond refuses and basically says, "I resign. I don't need to," and because he looks over at her, so basically it's seeming like he resigns from MI6, and Blofeld gets arrested. Gets with Vesper, gets with Swan. He talks to Q in the end and basically asks for his ride back. But he's like, "I need one more thing," and that's when he gets the Aston Martin back, and they drive off. I think that is a really good ending. That is why, to me, this is it for the Craig era. I think there's a perfect ending right there. You tie everything, you kind of tie all the films together, revealing it to be Blofeld. And what's the next one? As far as I know, the only thing I really know is, like I know the plot, which sounds shit. I heard Rami Malek was pretty good, so I guess that could be a positive potentially. So we have a decent villain, but everything else, the Bond girl sucks. I heard, he fucking dies, which is fucking retarded. You should have Bond. That's why to me this is a better ending. Killing Bond is you never kill him. He's an ongoing character. You don't on screen kill him. Like you could have like the way where this version of Bond retires, and then you're just in a different. You don't even question it. Just in a different Bond movie, it's a different guy and a different story. That this this not you know it. That's all they had to do here. So for me, this is the end. I don't care. I don't even if No Time to Die parts of it are decent. That ending ruins it for me. You don't kill fucking James Bond. So I'm gonna more rant about that next week, but I had to get that off my chest. So for me, this is such a better ending. He gets his Aston Martin back. We get the, Blofeld is the one who's been causing everything since the beginning. It had that finality feel to it. So I'm going to look, and I actually might look and see if this was supposed to be it, because it definitely has that feeling to me. So, yeah, I really like it. It's a fun one. The action's great. Good characters. All, good villain. I won't say he's as good as Mads Mikkelsen is still the best villain of these but he is really good. For the bit we got of him, Christoph Waltz really killed his Blofeld, you know? I really like it, you know? So, 9 out of 10, definitely would watch it again. I'm so dreading No Time to Die. Like, and it's not even that, because from what I've heard from people, that Bond doesn't get, like, like in most modern films, they'll have, like, the girl talk down to him. Apparently, there's not a lot of that, and that's fine. Him dying, that is so shitty. Knowing that, it just takes me out of it. So we'll see. Maybe there could be some decent action, but I don't know, man. Killing Bond, just on principle, just is like, that's such a turn off for me. And apparently he's mopey Bond too at times. I'm like, ugh. I don't know if I can fuck around with mopey Bond, man. So, anyway. Tomorrow I'm going to be doing American Cyborg Steel Warrior. I think that'll be a fun little 93, but kind of like, 90s cheese. I'm okay with that. And yeah, but, get ready to cheers, and I'll talk to y'all tomorrow. Alright. Talk to y'all tomorrow. Peace.